Welcome to the Top 10 Bikes with me, Dave Lee Travis. This week we'll be looking at the biggest, the fastest and the best 10 sports tourers on the market today, as chosen by our panel of experts. So stay tuned to see which bike takes the #1 spot. Enough with the talking, let's bring on the bikes. At number 10 is the all-British Triumph. This is perhaps Triumph's finest achievement since returning to motorcycle production in 1991. Its stylish, restrained looks combined with its powerful and smooth 955cc three-cylinder engine give it good reason for making it into the top 10. Its agile, stable handling from an aluminium beam frame chassis confirm its status. The comfort and practicality are also worthy of note, and are areas that our panellists gave high scores. The seat could be described as roomy, plenty of space for a wriggle around to get the blood flowing again. It's also well laid out for taller riders who often feel cramped on a traditional sports bike. In technical terms, it has a sound ergonomic layout. This bike loves the twisties, but is equally at home on a big slab of motorway. The unchanged engine of the RS has heaps of mid-range torque and it's impressively smooth, though its unremarkable top-end power is more of a handicap on this sportier model. This isn't too much to complain about though, seeing as the RS is almost £1,000 cheaper than the ST. The Sprint does everything well. Fun in the bends, bomb-friendly for long distance, reliable and good-looking. Triumph has come up trumps. This is what our panel of experts had to say.
The Triumph Sprint ST. In its day, it was alongside the old VFR 800, but the game's moved on, Triumph stood still. Good for a second hand, don't go for a new one.
It's nice to see that Hinckley have managed to build some quite good sports touring motorbikes these days. Not my bag, because I'm not very keen on the particular engine and the way it delivers its power, but some people like it and it's British.
I sort of preferred it to the VFR at the time because the VFR was characterless at the time and soulless, and the Sprint ST just did everything the VFR did, but with a, with a British badge and with a bit of charisma.
Our panel of experts have given the Triumph a lowly 58%. At number 9, it's the GSX750F. The Suzuki GSX750F is one of the cheapest sports tourers in today's show at just a shade over £5,500. Plus, it's also one of the smallest, with a 749cc four-stroke engine producing 91 brake horse at 10,500 RPM, which for a bike weighing 211 kilos means earth-shattering performance is not really an option. Seen as the ugly duckling by bikers and journalists alike, Suzuki's 750F does exactly what it says on the tin. A confident machine with excellent balance and road-holding abilities, happy out in the back of Beyond or cruising up and down the M1. Touring comfort mixed with crisp sports handling and performance make it a good all-rounder. It has a 20-litre tank for those long-distance merchants out there and plenty of torque when you need it. The bodywork, although not entirely a styling success, does provide adequate weather protection. The GSX-F may not set the world alight, like its closest relative the GSX-R, but it does have a nice top-end rush if you feel like clearing a few cobwebs out. The 750F is a good all-rounder, however, it's not quite as awe-inspiring as others in its class, but if you're a biker on a budget, then this Suzuki could be exactly what you're after. You get a lot of bike for your money.
It's a worthy bike, and it's a cheap bike, but the headlights kind of look like a D-cup bra coming at you head-on, so the sort of looks of it are really a matter of taste. Obviously not mine.
Very unexceptional bike, I'm afraid, but once you get up the top end of the rev range and you actually pretend it's a sports bike, it can give you some riding pleasure, and people who own them swear by them.
For me, it's a bike that's completely nondescript. Wouldn't want to own one, wouldn't recommend one to anybody.
So, the GSX750F at number 9 scored 66%. In at number 8 is the BMW K1200 RS, the super heavyweight of today's group. At 285 kilos, the BMW needs a lot of oomph to get it going. Churning away underneath the rider is a 4-stroke engine producing 130 horsepower at 8,750 RPM, which is more than enough to keep that smile on your face. The stunning looks, bags of energy and lots of practical bits make the Beamer an ideal long-haul bike. BMW have also improved on the comfort and wind blast protection. Berlin by tea time material. When fitted with BMW's rock-solid ABS system, the K1200 is as easy to stop as it is to get going, controlling both the front and back brakes via the hand lever, with the rear brake remaining a foot-controlled affair. With more adjustments and settings than a Swiss Army penknife, it's just not possible for anyone to find this bike uncomfortable. Handlebars, seat, foot pegs, and many more can be moved up and down, left and right, or backwards and forwards until a perfect fit is discovered. Priced at just over £9,000, the K1200 is a lot of bike for the money, making it a worthy purchase if it's within your price range.
It looks a bit dated now, but the thing is that it's BMW and it's going to be ultimately reliable, and you're just going to service it and ride it and service it and ride it.
It's a good bike, good motorbike. I've never been a big fan of BMWs because I'm not a big fan of shaft drive. But the 1200's comfortable. It's not the best looking bike in the world, but it does its job. You can crunch lots of miles on it. You can take a pillion, plenty of luggage, tour around Europe. Fantastic, not bad at all.
You meet so many people that buy into the BMW philosophy of life and they will never change to another bike. For me, I've yet to get there. I haven't got my pipes and slippers.
Our panellists have scored the BMW 74%. It's big, it's powerful, it's Japanese, and it's very reliable. It's also in at number 7. No, it's not a sumo wrestler, it's the Yamaha FJR 1300. Yamaha's latest offering into the sports touring market sees their FJR pitted against the likes of the BMW K1200 RS and the Kawasaki ZZR 1100, giving the new 1300 a lot to live up to. The FJR 1300's been long awaited. Its predecessor, the FJ 1100 and 1200, were around in the late 80s and early 90s. Generating a more than ample 143 brake horsepower at 8,500 RPM from its 1298cc inline 4-cylinder 16-valve engine, the FJR will deliver that little extra power when needed by the rider, which is often lacking in some other models in this class. How's this for a claim to fame? It's got more torque than an R1. It's big, like 237 kilos big, and thankfully there's also a big fuel tank with a 25-litre fuel capacity. The FJR is shaft drive, just what you need on a big reliable tourer. Yamaha are very good at smooth, unobtrusive shaft drives, and the FJR is no exception. No mucky chain to deal with. Great! The fairing has an adjustable height screen, and the FJR has lots of other optional extras, including heated grips, intruding on BMW's territory there. The only major gripe with the FJR is its riding position, which is not as comfortable as its competitors. A pretty major character flaw for a sports tourer when comfort is a major purchasing decision. Priced towards the top end of the market at a shade under £10,000, the FJR is a lot of money to fork out when there are better bikes out there for significantly less. That's the machine, now the experts.
These FJRs have been around for donkey's years, the 1300 being bang up to date. Still doesn't compete with things like the Goldwing, but very good, and you won't see so many about. So maybe if you want to be a little bit individual, get an FJR.
The only thing I found with it, and I'm a big lad, I found the comfort let it down a bit. About 80, 90 miles an hour, you know, you've got a bit of numb bum.
A friend of mine had one for just over a year and did the south of France on it and into Andorra and the top of Spain. So it can't be all bad.
Our panel has scored the FJR 75%. In at number 6 is Ducati's sports tourer offering. Now we all have a traditional image of a Ducati, the bright red paint job, the super speeds it can reach and its uncompromisingly sporty feel. Well, forget everything you know, the ST4 is different. This bike has something for everyone with its combination of the air-cooled ST2 sports tourer and the liquid-cooled 8-valve V-twin engine from the impressive 916 Sportster. The bike is comfortable for cruising all day long, and it can reach almost 160 miles an hour. It really does feel like a good Ducati should. Handling and brakes are above average too. Although the ST4 is smooth and comfortable over long distances, it really is more at home through a set of fast, challenging bends. It's an awesome tourer with sports bike handling and, of course, a stonking motor. It has fully adjustable shower upside-down forks, so you can set up the Duke as you like. Brembo brakes provide the stopping power. The Ducati St4 will tramp all over a Triumph Sprint on a fast road. Must be its race heritage coming out.
It's a funny blend. They've got the 916 engine in a bit of a slab-sided, not a monster because that's unkind. The only redeeming feature is it has got a sweet engine in there, but for Italian style it leaves a bit to be desired.
Comfy tourer, not in the same league as, I don't know, the VFR 800, but all round not too bad, a bit ugly.
Like the Aprilia, more of a sports bias to this bike than touring. Quite minimalistic, not a hell of a lot of wind protection, but a lovely looking bike and probably something you'll have more of a relationship with than a pure tourer.
Our panel has scored the Ducati St4 76%. Time for a break, but don't go away as we have these touring treats coming up in part 2. See you after the break. Welcome back to Top 10 Bikes. I'm Dave Lee Travis, leading you through our Top 10 Sports Tourers of 2002. Straight in at number 5 is the Aprilia Futura. The Aprilia Futura is a sports tourer that's equally at home on the road or on the track. With a 997cc V-twin 4-stroke engine, the Futura will produce an impressive 118 brake horsepower at 9,250 RPM. Combine this power with a 190 kilo curb weight and you have a solid sports tourer. Long gone are the days when only the Japanese firms could assure reliability from their machines. The Futura not only has the lifespan of a diamond, but thanks to its engine, it has all the excitement of a 998 Ducati. With handling to shame even the most focused of sports bikes, the Futura will quite happily glide through the most demanding A and B roads. It's also capable of embarrassing a few sports bikes at track days. The Aprilia Futura is a fine mix of comfort and versatility. The engine is a derivative of the V-twin that powers the Mille and the Falco. It's been retuned for a more mid-range grunt, but still has reasonable top end. Best of all though, this year Aprilia have chopped nearly £900 off the basic list price, bringing the price to just under £9,000. Bargain!
Using the engine from the RSV Mille, they've slightly sort of taken the edge off it and made it a little bit less frantic and then sort of put it into this stealth fighter type looking machine. It's sort of all angles and quite aesthetically attractive.
It's a good tourer. It's not too sporty. You wouldn't want to take the centre stand off it and take it on a track day. But it'll take you to Scotland, not a problem. I
don't think big V-twin engines make the best touring bikes. They're very lumpy, the clutches tend to be a bit heavy. A fine bike, but more sports than touring.
Our panel of experts gave the Aprilia 77%. In at number 4 on our chart of sizzling sports tourers is the Kawasaki ZZR 1200. The bike that thinks it's a bus, a blooming quick bus. This sports tourer was the quickest production bike when it was first launched and has always been considered extremely quick at any level. This latest model comes equipped with an 1164cc double overhead cam inline 4-stroke engine. With the revs fully open, this Kawasaki will produce an impressive 158 brake horsepower. The new ZZR 1200 has been given a few tweaks here and there, with Kawasaki fitting an all-new 6-speed gearbox and swing arm, but most noticeably, the new ZZR is draped over a new frame. The ZZR takes touring to another level. Superb performance, comfort and of course handling. The all-new bodywork provides ample wind protection and the mirrors are anti-vibration, just what you need at high speed. It comes with all the mod cons of a tourer. Tie-down hooks, electric socket, clock, kitchen sink. That was a joke. The Yamaha FJR 1300 heads up the attack as the ZZR's main competitor. But the Kawasaki has a price difference of nearly £2,000, which is a huge wedge of money in anybody's pocket. Now you've seen the bike, let's hear from the panel.
It's an awesome bike. It's a big lump of bike, and you know, you get it on the autobahns rather than the motorways, and you're going to get there in a hurry.
And the ZZR 1200, just by giving it that bit more capacity and giving it some new clothes, Kawasaki's really breathed new life into it. It's an exceptionally good bike.
This machine is really the rebirth of the 1100cc variant that was so dominant in the 80s. Big, fast, powerful. That's been the tradition of Kawasaki Tours.
The Kawasaki ZZR 1200 scores a respectable 80%. Jumping in at number 3 is the Suzuki GSX750F, known to its chums as the Hayabusa. The fastest, most powerful motorcycle in the world today, the Suzuki GSX750F Hayabusa. To call this bike extreme is nothing short of an understatement. Powered by a 172 brake horsepower inline 4-stroke engine, the bike, named after a Japanese bird of prey, will rocket towards a top speed of 200 miles an hour. Now, 200 in a car is impressive, but 200 on two wheels is just plain balmy. Everything about this bike is focused on speed, from the nose fairing through the bodywork and then finishing on the rear seat unit. Airflow is passed faultlessly around the Hayabusa and any soul mad enough to ride one. However, as a true sports tourer, the Hayabusa falls short of others in the class. Because of its fantastic drag-efficient design, it lacks any sort of substantial storage space. But what the hell, it'll do 200 miles an hour. Thanks to its front-end biased weight distribution, the natural weight of the bike helps keep the monster power plant under control when cornering, or simply opening the throttle and going hell for leather in a straight line. Priced at just over £8,500, the Hayabusa is within the middle of the sports tourer market. But what it lacks in storage space for those long hauls to the south of France, it more than makes up for in street cred, posability and most importantly, performance. The Suzuki GSX750F, the fastest production motorbike in the world. Wow! This is what our panel of speed freaks had to say.
Really ugly looking bike, but what a tool. Everybody claims to have been over 200 mile an hour on one, although they're only geared for 196 mile an hour. But as a tourer, just a fun way to get about.
If you want to sit on an intergalactic missile, then you just sit on one of these, you start it up, you wind on the throttle, change gear, and you've just left everybody that you knew behind.
Our panel of experts have given the GSX-R 85%. With number 1 fast approaching, we're at number 2 and the Honda Blackbird. The Blackbird first appeared in 1997, bringing forth a new breed of hyperbikes that combine outrageous top speed with practical all-round capability. With stiff competition from Suzuki's Hayabusa and Kawasaki's ZX12R, the Blackbird still holds its own, all thanks to a unique combination of practicality, build quality and superb handling, which is surprising for such a big heavy bike. The linked brake system is controversial, and whilst it's either loved or hated by bike aficionados, there's little else to complain about anywhere else. The engine is superb, it's full of punch, the fuel injection boosts mid-range power and the top end is incredible. Open the throttle and you're hitting warp speed. Look out Millennium Falcon. It is stupendously fast with a hunger for miles. The aerodynamics are second to none. The drag coefficient is equivalent to a 250cc GP bike. The slightly taller screen allows you to tuck in and keep out of the wind blast, ensuring that you arrive fresh as a daisy at your destination.
Mega comfortable, awesome performance. You know, we're really talking, we're 170 mile an hour trip to the shop, so you're going to get there in a hurry.
It feels a bit slow compared to its rivals now, such as a Hayabusa and the ZX12R, but it's got the Honda badge on it. It's just fantastic.
A very, very fast, agile motorcycle for its weight. Very, very comfortable. You probably wouldn't need another bike.
Scoring 86% from our panel is the Honda Blackbird. I'm going to keep you in suspense for just a little longer whilst I run down the top 10 so far from 10 to 2. At 10, it's the Triumph Sprint flying the flag for the Brits. At number 9, it's the GSX750F. BMW K1200 RS storms in at number 8. At 7, the reliable Yamaha FJR 1300. In at 6, the Ducati St4. And another Italian takes the number 5 spot, the Aprilia Futura. And at number 4, we find the good old Kawasaki ZZR. At 3, the Suzuki GSX750F or Hayabusa. At number 2 is the Honda Blackbird. Time now to reveal which bike has made it to number 1. This week's #1 bike is the all-conquering Honda VFR 800 Fi VTEC. Honda's VFR 750F was the classic sports tourer for years, and the 800 Fi is a worthy successor. It's a fantastic bike to use, whether being pushed to its limits down the motorway or winding road, cutting through city traffic or touring overseas with a pillion and luggage on board. The V4 engine is very powerful, smooth at speed, and it has bags of character. Its £8,000 price tag is about average for this category of bike, and it's worth every penny. Its suspension and twin-spar aluminium frame gets a near-perfect balance between speed and comfort, and with 160 miles an hour top speed, you're going to need it. The bike-buying public also agrees with the 800 Fi's high position in the chart, as it's the biggest selling sports tourer in the country. The VFR has new bodywork, a new headlight, a new high-level exhaust system, and of course, the VTEC engine. The engine has a somewhat sportier power curve, which isn't entirely in line with the sports tourer image, and not everyone is a fan of the VTEC engine either. The VFR is considered one of the finest bikes ever made and the most versatile bike on earth.
This bike started in a 750cc form and basically has been the byword in sports touring since. Brilliant buy one.
I think if I was going to buy a sports tourer, considering my good memories on the old VFR 750 and having ridden the new VTEC VFR 800, it would have to be the VFR 800 VTEC.
This is the definitive sports tourer as far as I'm concerned. Yes, there's faster, yes, there's more muscular, but at the end of the day, I think if I were going on a long journey and I needed top box panniers, but I didn't need to take the kitchen sink, it's my #1. It really is the one to own.
Our panellists gave the VFR 87%, making the Honda VFR 800 Fi VTEC the #1 sports tourer for 2002.
On behalf of Honda, it's great to accept this award for our VFR 800. The VFR range has been consistently one of our top-selling and most popular bikes. Starting life as a 750, it's now moved up to an 800, and with a VTEC engine, ABS braking system and new sophisticated suspension, it's great that this bike is still at the top of the sales leagues. And it's great that the biking fraternity have once again voted it top sports tourer. Thanks very much.
That's the end of our show this week of Top 10 Sports Tourers for 2002. This is Dave Lee Travis saying thanks for tuning in.